What's up and good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to another video. Apparently we are in the calm before the storm of the big hurricane that's gonna hit California. We'll see if this actually amounts to anything. In my opinion, California never really gets crazy weather, so like all the news stations are hyping it up. The weathermen are so excited because they finally get to talk about something, and I feel like by the time it hits land, it's gonna be like, yeah, we got a lot of rain, but that's about it. Some of them are saying 130 mile an hour winds, hurricane, first hurricane in since 1942 or whatever. We shall see. We are doing our best to get everything prepared. You can see behind me we've got a cover over the pool. This is actually the pool cover that comes with the Intex pool, and it's really meant to like go down the sides of the above ground pool, and then these strings tied lower down on the base. Ideally, if I could have slid it in between the deck and the pool, it would have actually been perfect because there's no way that the wind would have got underneath it and lifted it up. But some corners like over there, the pool and deck are so tight to each other, there's just no way I could have gotten it in. So I know they actually do make pool covers similar to the way I attached it here, that attach on top of your deck. We'll see if this survives. If we get some really gnarly winds, I don't know how well, this little corner right here is gonna hold up, but we'll see. We've done all that we can on the pool. We're stocked up on fuel. Generators are ready. Chainsaws are ready. Everything's been run and fired up, ready to go. Tractors are ready. It's pretty much just a waiting game now. But while we wait for the storm that's supposed to be here in like, I don't know, 10 hours, less than 10 hours, 8 hours, something like that, we've got Dave coming out, and we are going to finally cut the border in on the deck. I've been holding off on doing this for a long time, mainly because number one, I don't trust myself to do it perfectly straight, and if it looks wonky, we just ruined a ton of money's worth of decking. And number two, I don't have a track saw. Dave has a Festool track saw. Who do you call when you need a really straight line cut? Somebody that owns a Festool track saw. So any second now, we should see Dave coming down the road in his van. Oh, like clockwork. Looky there, guys. A sight we have not seen on the channel in a long time. Dave? Dave? No, Dave, that's Willie. Dave, I'm over here. Dave, that's another donkey.
My land, look at that pool.
What do you think, buddy?
My land.
Now, I don't ever like to insult another man's van.
Goddamn.
But I say this with love because I know you're in the market. The roof ain't looking so good, man. The roof.
Hey man, how you doing? Your van looks like shit. Okay. All right, now cut my deck.
I don't know if you get above it much.
Yeah, where it parks at home, every morning I walk out.
But good news is, guys, Dave is in the market for a van. I've been trying to convince him, and sometimes he listens to me, sometimes he doesn't. But I'm trying to convince him against.
I try and listen to him as much as I can afford to listen to him.
Fair. But this man's contemplating buying another GMC van. Now, I don't know if you've looked at GMC vans lately, but from about 2005 to current, they have not changed at all looks-wise. And I think currently, because I just saw a 2023 in Sergio's shop, they're using like a 2010 Chevy truck interior on these things. I just can't see my man buying a brand new van and not getting into like the 21st century with things, that's all. Of course, the one day Dave finally has time to come out here, we're like running from a storm.
Fucking pleasant.
Glad to see the shirt came off immediately. I didn't have to tell you to get comfortable, There's some new people that have not really got to experience Dave.
Your new followers never even met me,
New people? Dave, new people.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
That's a good look on you, man.
I forgot my hat, man.
Alrighty, y'all, so this is the magic behind what I needed Dave for. So we've gone around and we've marked right on the edge there. You line up your track right to the edge, and this son of a gun will cut as long as this track does not move, which it's got some grippy stuff on the side. There's also a clamping system that slides up underneath here, and depending on what you're cutting, you can actually clamp to the material. Obviously here we cannot. Slides in to the little channel down here, and you can clamp to your material. It's a really great setup. Milwaukee finally put one out, although it is like 1,200 bucks, which I'm assuming we're probably in Festool range at that point.
I mean,
well, maybe not now, but when you bought this one, probably similar.
Yeah, I mean that's probably what it is. But the far out part is that it makes me weird too. But really, if you're cutting a 90-degree cut, you can trust the track on the material. I still have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
But the other sick thing is that if anything goes wrong while you're making a cut, you just release and the blade gets off of the material. And so as soon as you notice something's wrong, the blade comes off. It's kind of a sick feature.
Look at that, y'all. That is how it's done right there. Easy peasy.
You are a very standard deck builder.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Now they call me Dave, the dog dick deck dude.
Now, the one thing we know is that we can't get all the way up to the edges of the pergola. I'm happy if you're happy, buddy. And time! What do we pull that off in? Hold on, let's see.
What we got?
Let's see, just under an hour from the time you pulled up. That's pretty good. I saved y'all from having to see Dave just run through the yard taking all of his clothes off because some fire ants had gotten up inside of his clothes, but I hope I never have to see you like that again, dog.
You know, like most people pay for that, dude.
Fair. Thank you, man. Always a pleasure seeing you. Hopefully we see each other again very, very soon. Thank you for that. You just saved me hours of crooked cuts by using the track saw, so. Alrighty, y'all, we are coming to you live from Hurricane Hillary, whatever crap they blew up and said it was gonna be insane. We've gotten like okay winds. We're pretty windy out here quite often, so we're used to the winds. However, it is a good amount of water dropping very fast. Normally the driveway in this gravel area does not puddle up this much, so we've definitely been getting a lot of rain. I'll take you out in the back and show you the pool cover in a second. We've got Gunner. Gunner, what do you think, buddy? It's not that bad, huh? Look at this, we're still in shorts, slides, and t-shirts. We got the Bronco, she's protected right there. We're gonna go take her on a little drive around the property. We're gonna check on the driveway. There's a lot of water. I don't know if the driveway old situation is gonna hold up to this much water. I gotta say that we have 4 of the 5 gates up. I don't know where Gunner's going. He's exploring over there. And so far the donkeys are staying away, which is good. We've got the goats hanging out underneath the patio cover. What's up, guys? How you doing? Your guys are good. You guys don't really poop here, and if you do, you're easy to clean up. But yeah, look at this big old puddle forming right here. This is a good amount of water. Did it warrant the craziness that all the news stations and everything were saying? No. The next thing on my list for before this next rainy season is rain gutters, because again, you can see the problem is all the water drops right here. Number one, well, it splashes. We also had driving winds a minute ago that was splashing all the windows on the house, which is a pretty good distance. It's got to push that water. One of the best things we did though is we put in this big box drain, because this planter likes to fill up with water, as you can see. And this box drain actually floated up out of the ground because there's so much water in here previously. So that's why that rock is sitting there holding it down. But that keeps this area from flooding. We used to have water that would come all the way up to at least the shed. And then really it just drains on this side. Right here is where we have it pouring out. And then we kind of put a little filter gravel bed right there. It pours down there and it just goes out into the rest of the yard. Our entire property slopes this way, so we never really worry about the house flooding, because the house is, well, it's not on the highest part of the property. There's still much lower property below us, so it'll always pass through and it'll never really flood the property. Now for the deck, I gotta say, we are doing good. Somehow this cover is surviving. I think it's, oh geez, look how much water's in the grass right here. Woo. That is a solid couple of inches of water. I think the water sitting on top of this cover is helping this immensely, because we just had some gnarly winds rip through and the cover picked up just a little bit, but she has not torn. I don't see any of the parts that it's attached to torn yet, so that's a good sign. Man, look at all that water crossing. Is it crossing the road right there? Is that just from this side? Oh no, that's cool. Look at this big puddle right here. I can already see we got a bunch of rivers going down the side of the driveway. Let's go check out the end of the driveway. Gunner, buddy, you just love trudging out in the water, huh? Gunner's a water dog, guys. He used to swim like crazy. He used to dive down 3 or 4 feet underwater, but he was getting too many ear infections, so we had to kind of stop that and take him out of pools. Alrighty, so you guys can see this is always our major issue, is all the water from this side of the property doesn't quite cross the road, and really we don't want it to because it overruns all the gravel. So until we end up getting some type of big culvert pipes to get it across before it ends up at the end of the driveway, which this is probably the season to be doing it in. So we should probably get that done at some point, but let's follow this all the way out and let's see. Well, y'all, this is probably the most water we've seen build up height-wise, I don't know. Check out this nasty foaminess we got going on there. Oh, that is super thick. That's gross. Obviously, we're losing the battle with the driveway. I think the best case scenario is this doesn't run out too bad because we brought in some better material last time. If it happens, it happens. Good news is we have the tractor now to fix stuff like this a little bit easier. Prior, it was all with the Mini X, and I can only just grab dirt that was near me to put here. But yeah, this stuff's kind of gross. I don't know what all this is or where that's all coming from, but check out right here. Now right here, this is probably a solid 2 feet of water, I would say. I mean, there's some sediment that I'm sure has brought it up, but this thing was at least 2 feet deep before the storm hit. And it's actually overtopping right here a little bit. It's kind of draining down, but I'm assuming if the rain picks back up, the rain's kind of just sprinkling right now, but I've never seen the water come over on this side. Normally it gets down to there, and then it kind of like blows through my dam that we built. A lot of water. Is it as crazy as they said it was gonna be? No. Supposedly it's still gonna get crazier later, but we'll see. I gotta say, the good thing about the property though, I mean, I'm in probably 8 inches of water over here. I was standing over there a minute ago and it drained to like that much water. The property drains really quickly. Does it take a little bit of collateral damage on its way? Yes, it does. Did we just get a tornado warning? Yeah, we did. I feel like California right now is so excited for some weather. They're just pumping out every freaking warning that they can. I will say though, do you hear that? You hear that sound? That means as long as the water is manageable, our drains aren't clogged down there. You can see we're actually draining through now. We're not crossing over here. This is just obviously when we had so much water. Again, when we came down here, the water was all the way up to the top over there. It has since drained down in all of like 5 to 10 minutes. That drain is holding up really well and draining good. I mean, you can see this is very minimal damage compared to what we normally get right in this section. I'm pretty happy with that. For the storm of the century, or the storm of whatever, I think we're doing pretty good. Checked on the part of the road, everything looks good. You guys probably might not be able to hear me well because of the wind. I'm gonna try to block it with my hand. Supposedly now the storm has, like the eye of the storm has passed us. Now we're just getting the residual rain and little bits of wind. But I think we've survived. I'll keep you guys updated if it gets worse. Pool cover surprisingly has stayed on. And really, we probably didn't even need it because there's like 12 leaves on the pool cover. So the reason we covered it was to keep the leaves and crap out should the winds get gnarly and blow it off of all those trees over there and over there. Thankfully, we don't have too many trees right next to the pool, but there's enough that it would be a pain in the butt to clean out later. But now looking at it, I think it was more of a pain to put the cover on. It's getting a little cold. It's getting a little cold. And we had to pull the steps off. The steps are tucked right there next to the shed. Well, yo, we made it through the night. And honestly, after supposedly the storm passed, based on the weather radars, the worst of the weather hit us, and oh, looks like we got little fuzzies going on the camera. There we go. The worst of the wind came like after, I guess, the storm had passed. So kind of the tailing end brought the worst of the wind, but really, it wasn't too bad. The property handled great. We've been making provisions to handle water, and I'm very, very happy with how the property handled it. Boy, so funny. Did you enjoy a little bit of weather? Probably not. Good news is the animals never came under the patios again, even though they have this big opening to come through. But fencing off all 4 other openings, I guess, was enough for them to realize they should stay away. Check this out though. I went to go switch over the forks to put the bucket on because a little bit of road repair we got to do. And we got a little frog right there. I don't know if you guys can see that frog, but apparently the coyote is now home to a frog. Hopefully we don't squish him. There's one tree limb down right there. And man, I've got my cleanup crew, AKA the donkeys, on it. So I think we're gonna make it out of here, guys. Now, we had some decent winds. I personally don't think they've been anywhere near the fastest winds we've had out here. However, it's the most wind we've had since we built the hunting blind up on some giant stilts. And gotta say, she's still standing, so that's a good sign. So spend the money once and the time to overbuild it, and then you never really have to worry about it. Let's disconnect the forks using our front camera right there to know we are out. And we'll go grab the bucket. Well guys, I stand corrected. We lost about half a tree. As far as I can tell, again, I haven't really looked around the whole property, but that seems to be the most damage. We lost half a tree. And apparently my cleanup crew's on a break. They're supposed to be over there cleaning that up and eating it. Coming out to the end of the driveway, which is where we normally have all of our big issues, and I am very pleased at what I see. Obviously at some point, well, now you can see a lot has kind of built up in here, but my pipe is still open. I can see just the top of it right there, which means water will still drain. I'll come in here and clean this out later. I really don't even need to put much dirt. I think this one scoop that I grabbed on my way out here is gonna be plenty to fix this, which, like, we've never had it that easy at the end of this driveway. So I'm very, very pleasantly surprised at what this is looking like. To get this doctored up, we're gonna go down the road. There's a couple of spots that we want to fix on the actual main road, and then probably go around the property, take advantage of today being so crappy and overcast. I didn't think I'd be putting on a hoodie for a long time, but since we have so much moisture in the dirt, I'm gonna go cut all the trails back around the property and all that, and just make everything nice. Do a little dirt drop here. We'll put half on the other side. About right yonder. And then we'll use the old box blade on the back. First, we gotta drive over it. Compactor down. Oh yeah, looking good, looking good. Alrighty, I think we're looking pretty good. I'll come doctor up the rest later once we come back into the driveway, but for now, we'll go down the road. Yeah, I gotta say, the farm tractor for this type of stuff is great. Dirt is just perfect right now for doing what I'm doing, grading it out. It's gonna compact good when people start driving through here. This is why I wanted a farm tractor over a skid steer, especially having the box scraper on the back where I can pitch and angle it to put a crown in the road how we want it. But right now, I don't feel boxed in. Tons of views all the way around, air conditioning, radio, like, you just can't ask for a better day playing on the tractor. Alrighty, y'all, well, yesterday I cleared most of the roads around the property, or the trails slash roads. I actually made them into nice wide roads. And then this morning, me and Abel went and we finished the second coat of paint on all of the fencing behind me. We're now sitting at the Mini X. We're gonna do a little bit of tree trimming. This side of the property, we follow this road around to where Abel's walking. There's a little drainage ditch that we have to go through. And a lot of those trees have never been trimmed since we've owned this place. And they sag too low. So I couldn't come through with the tractor and make it really nice without just scratching the crap out of the coyote, and we don't want to do that. As you guys can see, right in this section, I mean, you can barely even see Abel in there because these are so low and overgrown. I mean, they look beautiful, but coming through like this area right here with the tractor, you just end up smacking tree after tree after tree after tree. And it's kind of prevented me from coming in here and maintaining this area. And the problem is when you don't maintain the roads that go around the property and this stuff starts to grow, it is a pain in the butt. You come through with the box scraper on the back and it just clogs up with all this stuff, and you have to do like 10 passes before it gets back to like something clean that you can actually grade out nicely. Look how nice it is though once you get it all back to clean. All this area up here I did yesterday. I ran out of time, so I do have to come back in and just kind of final grade this, but look at how nice this looks. So clean. Now that we got it to this clean and we have the tractor to where we can easily just run around the property and do a quick scrape every once in a while on the roads, it'll just make things a lot easier and everything's gonna stay cleaner. So that's why we need to open up that area down there to be able to drive the tractor just through and keep everything clean. Alrighty, y'all, we almost got finished today before Abel was done for the day. We still got to get a little bit higher up on that tree and that tree right there, but just look at the transformation this area has made. You could barely get through here with like the mini truck without hitting and scraping and doing all kinds of stuff. But we've got this beautiful road that goes through here. We still have the big canopies on the trees to shade the ground. I did leave all of these leaves over here because they kind of help prevent stuff from growing. I would like to chip all of this up. If any of you guys are local and you have a big old chipper on a trailer or whatever, and you're willing to let us use it, or you want to come out here and hang out with us and, you know, chip up some of this, I'd love to just mulch this all on the ground right here, again, to help prevent stuff like that from growing. But Mini X did great today. The Coyote did great and all this back out. As always, a huge thank you to Abel. I'm very lucky to have help out here, that's for sure. I could not imagine owning this much property by myself, and I see a lot of homesteaders and a lot of guys online that do it. Props to you guys, because man, this stuff is so much more work than it looks, and having just one extra set of hands is great, let alone a few extra sets. But come up here a little bit, we'll take a look back behind us. It's a little sunny and I lost my sunglasses, so I'm hurting today, but look at that, it's just beautiful. Little wins like this make me happy in life. This place is such a beautiful property, and slowly but surely we're like making it even nicer and just cleaner. We were very lucky when we bought it that it was kept very clean, because if you go look at like some of the other properties around us that are just like overgrown, they're really hard to keep up with. I mean, they would just take this giant overhaul to get them to even be like somewhat decent. This one, not too bad. I mean, trim the trees every couple of years pretty heavily, and you've got yourself a real nice property. And now that I've got the roads cut in, again, it's going to be easier to maintain them versus trying to go through this stuff, because the grasses just clog up the blade, and then it just takes so many freaking passes just to get the clogs out, and then you got to find a spot to dump them. And I don't want to like put a bunch of mounds out in the field, because then if we ever go to mow, you hit this mound of dirt and grass, and it just puts a ton of shock on your PTO shaft and all that. We don't want that. But with that, we are going to wrap up. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. We've got another project that we're going to be starting. We should be finishing the pool project by the next video, or at least getting very close to it. We're still waiting on some stuff, so that might be the last thing that holds me up. I think we're going to be starting on the new project at the ranch, which again is something that's kind of long overdue, and it's just going to continue to make this place more usable and more nice. If you would be so kind as to give this video a like, you get a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforitapparel.com, because if there's anything you want in this life, you got to be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm gonna go hop in the tractor and make some more roads around the property, because the dirt is just like, oh, this is the nicest we've ever had it to play in. So we're going to take advantage of that. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.